What's up, YouTube? Here with Atlantean Mermail. I wanted to get this deck profile up and going before Abyss Rising hits. Um, I've been doing a lot of testing with Atlanteans really for a long time, and at first I didn't like the Mermails. In and of themselves, they can be a really interesting archetype, but it doesn't fit my playstyle. It's not the way I like things to go. Whereas with the Atlanteans, there's a lot of different options you can do, a lot of ways to create massive pluses, massive field presence, OTKs. It's just really, really good. It's really, really fun, and most certainly is really, really competitive. That being said, I'll go ahead and get right into the deck profile. We start off with triple Undyne. This deck does get to include 2 full Heart and Soul engines, Undyne being the first of which. His effect, of course, you pitch a water from deck to add controller to your hand. Now that pitch is a cost, which means it's going to trigger your Atlanteans, be that infantry, marksman, or dragoon. Typically speaking, you're going to pitch dragoon. So what happens is you pitch dragoon, add the controller. Dragoon resolves at that point, letting you search any sea serpent monster from your deck to your hand. So you get to search Diva. So pretty much you summon Undyne and +2, and it's really awesome like that. That being said, we have to play 2 controllers for the Undyne to search. I absolutely hate this card, but is necessary for the amazingness that is Undyne. I don't like 3 because it clogs like crazy, and if you play 3, you pretty much have to play Lure, and I didn't want to do that, so only 2. We play Triple Diva, which is the second Heart and Soul core of the deck. It pulls itself, it pulls infantries, it pulls marksmen, it pulls attack squad. It sets you up for any rank 2 plays or quite a few different synchro plays. So Diva does everything. Now, Atlantean Heavy Infantry. We play a small lineup of the Atlanteans. Typically speaking, you think of Atlanteans as being, 3 infantries, 3 marksmen, usually not more than 2 attack squad, 3 dragoon. But I find that to be really cloggy. Typically speaking, I want like 1 Atlantean in my hand for the effective infantry to summon again. But other than that, I'm pretty much pulling everything from Diva. So I want the stuff in deck. I want what's in my hand to be more versatile than a bunch of Atlantean monsters, typically speaking. So that being said, I did cut back. We play 2 infantry, simply for the fact that he lets us extend a little bit further. And if he gets sent for the effect of a water monster as a cost, you can blow up 1 face-up card on the field. Marksman, on the other hand, if he's sent, he can blow up 1 face-down card on the field. And at the same time, if he inflicts battle damage, you can special summon a level 4 lower Atlantean Sea Serpent type monster from your deck, except himself. So pretty much what happens is if you're just poking direct with Marksman, you can go into infantry for something main phase 2. You can go into attack squad to poke for another 22. If you're under Gachi, you're poking for 26 with a level 3 attack squad that you summon for free, so that's pretty awesome. Or you can go into Dragoon, but Dragoon you pretty much never summon. Dragoon's sole purpose is to be pitch off Undyne. That's also the reason we're playing 2 of him instead of 3. I don't care for it in the hand, typically speaking. I just want it there for Undyne. I get that search off for Diva, and you pretty much go off and win from that point. While he's on the field, though, any of your level 3 or lower Sea Serpent monsters can attack directly. That being said, under Gachi, Marksman and Attack Squad can put a lot of damage on the board if you have to. As for the Mermail engine, we play 3, I'm just going to call her Linde. Linde pretty much is a searcher. She's like the, what do I want to call her? She's not a Sandgen, but she summons to the field. So she dies, you get Meglo. That's pretty much the only thing you need to know about her. Meglo, on the other hand, has a couple of things. You can pitch 2 water monsters from your hand as a cost to summon him. He will trigger your Atlantean's effects when you do that, and when he's summoned that way, he can search your deck for any of the Abyss-themed archetype spells or traps. We only play 2 of those, and I'll get to those in a moment. Otherwise, you can tribute a face-up attack position water monster you control to let him attack twice. That sets up quite a few OTKs, which is pretty awesome. The final monster we play is 1 Poseidra. At first I thought Poseidra was just that really bad structure deck boss monster, but the more I thought about it, the more I actually really liked the card and wanted to play the 1 copy of it. The effect that it summons itself with by attributing 3 level 3 or lower water monsters is an ignition effect that is a cost, so it will trigger your Atlantean's effects to blow stuff up when that happens, which is great. And then when he hits the board, he is a giant Trunade. Now, him along with your Atlanteans are all mandatory effects, so when you tribute, say you have Diva, Infantry, and Marksman, and you tribute them all for Poseidra, at that point they SEGOC into whatever order you want. Typically speaking, you're going to put Poseidra on chain link 1. That way he doesn't bounce first, you want him to bounce last. And your Atlanteans will go off chain links 2 and higher to actually blow stuff up. And then whatever's left, he bounces. If by the time he bounces, 3 or more cards are bounced, all of your opponent's monsters get nerfed 300 attack per bounced card. So that's actually really, really awesome. And he sort of comes out of nowhere. I don't see many other people playing him because they had that same first impression I did. But I actually do feel like he has a really good synergy and a good use for the deck. On Dispels, Avarice is pretty much a win condition. It recycles everything that we want like crazy, like more so than plants even. Avarice helps this deck tremendously. Mind Control, we have tuners, we have a wide variety of Exceed options. We have back row hate, we have staples. We play 2 Call of the Atlanteans. For a while I wasn't playing these, but they really are like a Call the Haunted on crack. You want to do them in your opponent's end phase. It sets you up for any Exceed play, it sets you up for a lot of Synchro plays, it sets you up for a Poseidra play. It's actually really good. Salvage adds back most of the monsters in the deck, so that's really good. And I chose to play 1 Moray as a filter. For a while I did play 3 Moray, but if you're top decking and you hit Moray, it's pretty bad. That being said, I chose to cut back cards like Moray and the 3rd copies of the Atlanteans to add a couple traps to the deck for some defense, and since doing that, the win ratio has skyrocketed. The first of those added traps was Judgment, just as the God Says No to whatever. The only 2 traps in the deck that are essential are 2 Abyss Spheres. What Abyss Sphere does, you pretty much set this card and wait for your opponent's turn. Before they end their turn, you activate it to special Linde from your deck. And then during your opponent's end phase at that point, which is pretty much right when you use this card, Abyss Sphere dies, it takes Linde with it, Linde nets you Megalo. So you get a bunch of deck thins, and you end up with a free beater on the field that leads towards your OTKs. Otherwise, there's other applications for Abyss Sphere, but that's pretty much how you're going to use in the deck. The last 3, 2 Deep Prisons and a Compulse to help protect our setup from anything that's going to be getting over gotchis and such, has actually netted a lot of positive synergy for the deck. The extra deck, everything is really self-explanatory. Double Gotchi, Daigusto, Phoenix, and Dark Mist for all of our level 2 rank Exceed plays. We play 1 Leviathan, 1 Acid Golem, and 1 Zenmaines. Zenmaines, of course, is defense. Leviathan is beats, and if you detach Marksman, you do get his effect, which is pretty awesome. Acid Golem, on the other hand, doesn't detach as a cost, so you're not going to get your Atlantean's effects off that. We play 1 Maestroke. We do have 2 level 4s. We have Mind Control. If they have Thunder King and you can get over it, this is the way to do it. We play 2 level 7s. Abyss Gaio, he sort of becomes a one-sided skill drain, which is really awesome, as well as level 5 and higher monsters can attack. And Big Eye is freaking phenomenal. We have a couple synchro plays. Armory Arm sets up extreme OTKs with Abyss when he sets as a 3400 that does burn damage and attacks twice. It's great. Cataster, Urquazis. I chose Urquazis as my level 6 simply because of Mind Control, Thunder King, Diva, Synchro. I found myself in a position where when I was taking level 4s to sync for 6, I was trying to get over defense, so I chose Piercing. Gungnir. Going into this, you go Diva into Infantry, into Marksman, Sync 7, Pitch 2. It takes a lot of resources to get him off. If he gets Bottomless or he gets Veilered, it really, really sucks. Even if he does get Veilered, you're still going to get the Atlantean effects if they're the ones you're pitching, which can be awesome. Works really good with Salvage to give you things to pitch. Yeah, he can be a big neg if he doesn't go off the way he's supposed to, but conversely, he can be the biggest plus in the entire deck. And finally is a Stardust Dragon. The side deck's actually really hard to side. You don't have much room to side at all on this. You could side out pretty much any of the traps but Abyss Sphere if you wanted to. Poseidra and the calls are also what you can side out. Everything else has to stay. For windups, you have Double Veiler. Gores for anything that's going to OTK. I chose 1 Mooling Glacia. I didn't like this card in the main at all. I did try it. I decided to side 1 as an Exodia out. let them build up some hand, set up your graveyard. Since you're not having to worry about more specific plays, you can just focus on getting the 5, drop, hit the Exodia pieces, don't lose. Soul Taker gets rid of Thunder King. MST, lots of back row field spells. Close Forest, field spells. More wind-up hate with Needle Sealing. Lots of Dark World and Gravekeeper hate with Shadow Mirrors. You can't play Soul Drain in this deck. And then finally, Double Decree to stop anything that's going to run a lot of traps, especially with the chain disappearances that are going to side against you. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Peace out.